Alrighty. Hello, everybody. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the live video. Welcome to today's training. Gonna wait for you all to hop on here. I'm super happy to bring you this week's episode. I say that every week because every week I get more and more excited about the topics. So let me know if this is a topic that you all are excited about. I know this is a topic that is going to hit home for a lot of you, and it did for me as well, so that's why I'm bringing it to you. And we talk a lot about in personal development and growing ourselves as we're growing our business. We talk a lot about this idea of, working on our money mindset. And I think one of the areas that we don't talk about with money mindset is all of the thoughts that we have about wealthy people who have money, people who get paid, people who make really good money. And sometimes we don't even address what we think about that. And I want to talk about it today because it's actually affecting your success and your ability to grow your business. I'm going to explain to you how that's happening and why it's so important that we are aware of what type of thoughts and beliefs we have around people who are successful, people who have money. So if you're joining me on this training, hop on, give me a hello, let me know that you're joining me here for this training. Say hello so I can say hi back to you and I know who's joining me here today. And also, if you're watching this on the replay, because I know a lot of times you catch this on the not on the live but on the replay, let me know you're catching it on the replay. Say replay in the comments so I can know you're joining me and that you're getting value from this lesson today. So the topic for the lesson today is, like we talked about, it's how we think about money when other people have it, right? How we think about people who have money. Because if you're trying to become successful and you're trying to become a successful coach and start a coaching business and be a coach who has money, and we have beliefs about people who have money, we're literally putting a roadblock in our way to creating money, right? If those beliefs are negative, we're literally blocking ourselves from becoming that person who has money. Hey, Jamie, welcome from Arizona. I have friends out there in Arizona. And by the way, if you are someone that wants to have more money and you feel like you don't have enough money to pay for things, and you feel like your issue is just that you can never afford to shell out the money that you want or need, and that's the evidence that you have a money problem, the issue isn't that you need to spend money, right? You don't have a spending money issue. You have an issue of not having enough money coming in. Think about that. Most of the time when we feel like we don't have enough money, we hoard money. We try to penny pinch and really just manage the money that we have because we don't have a lot of money, quote unquote. So we're trying to budget and manage and just never spend anything. But really, you just need to have more money. And the way you have more money is you make more money. We're going to talk about that today. But our beliefs around people who make more money and people who have money, if they are negative, then it's not in alignment with us making more money and getting out of our not having enough money problem. Hi, Ashley. Welcome from Tulsa. I've never been over there. What's the weather like? I have no idea right now. So, like I said, most people penny pinch or just try to work harder to make less money. Like most people are actually really comfortable and fine penny pinching, budgeting, going without, and working harder, and they feel very like self-righteous about going that path versus spending money to make money. So we can do a whole lesson about this, about credit, debt, spending money to have more. But what I really want to talk about today is the thoughts about being someone that has a lot of money, what we think about people who are rich or wealthy. And by the way, there is just an endless list of beliefs that you can have about people who are wealthy. So this is not going to be an exhaustive list in terms of everything everyone has ever believed about people who are rich. I'm just going to touch on a few of the most common points that come up, okay? So in terms of talking about, this is about growing our coaching business. So in terms of how this directly impacts your ability to create money now and grow a successful coaching business now, because there's a lot of negative energy around people with money floating around in the brains of coaches today. This is why we're talking about it. I hear it multiple times a week, okay? I hear these beliefs about money. Hey, Ash. So because I know it's there for coaches and it's pretty much there in our society everywhere, I'm going to talk about what you can do about it today and how to switch it around quickly. All right, so you can actually start getting paid what you're worth and making more money right away. All right. Most of the time when I talk about making money, and so here's an example that comes to my mind. When for example, one of my ads that I was running, thinking we might still be running it, I talk in the ad copy, in the video of that ad, about hitting 86K in a month, right? This is right before I collected 105K in a month. I had run this ad and I was talking about $86,000 in a month. And I got so much hate from a lot of coaches who were like, yeah, right, where's, oh, it's interesting that you didn't include an image on that, or you didn't, they were like, where's the receipts? Or they were just so negative about the fact that I was talking about money in general. Like they just couldn't believe that anyone's making money. Yeah, right, 86K in a month. Like that, nobody could ever get to that. Little did they know I was about to hit 105. So if I can do 86, I can do 105, and I can do 150. But that's not what we're talking about, right? But what's interesting is it shows the thoughts that are there inside so many coaches when they see other people with money, what brings up inside of them. Either it's for sure not true, they must be a bad person who's trying to hurt people, they couldn't possibly be trying to help someone, right? And so it begs the question, where do these thoughts come from? Why are they such a knee-jerk reaction in our society? Why are we just buying into this unintentionally? Did we choose those thoughts and reactions intentionally, or is it just happening where we just have this negative reaction to successful people when we see people around us succeeding, when you see other coaches around you succeeding? Is it filling you with possibility and excitement? Like, I am right next after her. I am just on her coattails, right? Hold the door, I'm coming too. Or is it like, I can't believe she's doing it. I don't know why, everybody else has money. I'm just like never going to get there. Or I never want to have to do the things that they probably have to do to get there, right? So why does this matter? If you believe that people who make a lot of money and get paid are bad, immoral to their core, right? You're not going to have any sense of urgency to become that person who gets paid and makes money. I want you to think about that. This is why it's important to address it. If you notice yourself judging people with money, and you also have a goal to be successful, and you haven't addressed that negativity towards successful people, your subconscious is not going to be in a hurry to be that person who goes out and doubles the most they've ever made in their entire life, because then who are you going to be, right? This happens at a subconscious level most of the time, right? So it's not just about hating money, but the thoughts and the beliefs we have around people and money, and people who have money and those who don't. A lot of times we're afraid people will judge us if we have money. People will see us having more items that we've never been able to afford before, and they're going to judge us for it, right? Or you are actually scared on a subconscious level that if you have money, you will just become a bad person. You'll stop being a good person, right? And coaches get stuck straight out of the gate. This is what pins you at the gate. Starting your coaching business, if you have those beliefs in there, because number one, you can't even price your program. You can't even price your work when you have negative money beliefs, right? It's like one of the very first things you have to do to get started when you're open for business is figure out what you're going to charge, right? And most coaches mess this up. Most coaches don't do this right because of this belief that they couldn't possibly charge very much. They haven't started yet. They're just getting started. And it's just a symptom of, one, how we're thinking about money and worth, and two, how we're thinking about ourselves, right? And when we can charge that much, and when we'll have the permission to be able to do that, right? And which types of coaches get to do that, right? Most coaches in the very beginning, again, this is the first thing you have to do, is pick a price point. Most coaches, when they're trying to make it make sense in their brain how much they're going to tell their clients it is to work with them, they think about how much time it's going to take them and how much sessions they want to be available for and how they're going to charge for that. So how much will that come out to? Or they're looking at what other coaches are doing. You know, the coaches that have their prices on their website or something like that, they'll go and they'll try to compare to what other coaches are doing to try to put themselves somewhere on that podium of where they should be charging. And most of the time we charge less than that. And usually it's because, well, we don't have the experience yet. They do. So therefore, experience means more money. That's not the case, my friends. And comparing your prices to any other coach is the very first mistake to setting your pricing, right? It's not about time or any other person out there. What is it about? What do we base our price on? Who knows the answer to this? Hey, Jamie. It's about the value of the transformation that you deliver with your client. So a lot of times I hear coaches say this to me, especially when this is the first thing we deal with in OCI, is like figuring out their price, what you're going to charge. And what keeps coaches stuck is they'll tell me, Valerie, who am I to charge that much? People are going to think, who am I to charge that much, when they hear how much I'm charging? Or maybe people have been following me for a while and people know me with my old pricing. They're going to think I'm immoral for raising my prices. Because I think I must be immoral for raising my prices. Because that means I want money, and people who want to have money and success are immoral people. Do you see how this belief is tied into growing a coaching business and actually having success? Or what if I can't get them that result and they've paid me all this money? At the root of that, it's a belief that people who charge a lot of money don't actually help people. They hurt people. Bet you didn't know that thought was in there, right? People with money had to sacrifice their morals to acquire the money. And I want you to recognize that this is part of our society. This isn't something that you consciously woke up one day and decided to believe. If you look at television and you look at movies, this messaging is everywhere on TV and in the movies. Think about the good storylines. Whenever there's a really wealthy person, hey, Melissa. Whenever there's a really wealthy person, a businessman, an entrepreneur, the most successful person in the town, they're always portrayed as someone who's corrupt, cutthroat. Maybe they're criminals and they kill people. Maybe they, sold their soul to the devil. They've had to sacrifice to get to the top, right? And it just reinforces this belief ever since childhood, just in the media. And I'm not even touching base on the things we've heard people in our families say growing up. What your Uncle Bob said, or your dad, or your mother, right? And so we don't consciously choose to believe these thoughts, and they're probably not things that we hear ourselves believing all the day. They're in our subconscious, but we have these reactions in our body when we see successful people. And if it's not positive and you have a goal to be a successful person, then that needs to be dealt with, because that's not in alignment with you going out and creating success. So what can you do about it? What can you do about these negative reactions that we have when we see really successful coaches or just people in our lives who are successful, right? And first thing you do is just notice if it's there. Notice if you have a knee-jerk reaction. What is your reaction when you see someone on the street with a really luxury car? Maybe they're driving a Porsche or a Rolls Royce, and you look at that car and you're over here like, what is the thought? Like, I can't believe you threw away money on that. That's so wasteful. Wow, you must be really self-absorbed to spend that kind of money on your own car. If I had that kind of money, I would not do that. Notice that like self-righteous tone that kind of comes up. Or maybe it's just you're walking, you know, if you used to walk around the malls back in the day, if the malls were open, I'm not sure if they're open where you are, and you see someone with a Birkin bag on her arm, and you look at them and you're like, wow, I can't believe she's so materialistic. Look at her with that fancy Birkin bag. I would never do that. Notice if you ever have negative reactions to people who have money. Then ask yourself, whatever your assumption is about them and their character, that they're shallow, that they don't care about helping people, that they're selfish, whatever it is. Ask yourself, when you notice that thought that just came to your head without you choosing it, yeah, but is that true? Do I know that that person doesn't care about other people? Do I know how they treat other people? Or even what they're doing for the world? Do I know any of that? Is that true? And how do I know that to be true? Just start questioning it. That's the first step. Is it also possible that the opposite is true? So if that person with the Birkin bag on their arm is a person who only cares about herself and steals from the poor to give to herself so she can buy nice bags, is it also possible that that other girl with the Birkin bag is the most charitable person on the world? Could that also be true? So if you really want to make this fun, who likes fun exercises? I love to challenge my brain and come up with fun exercises. If you really want to make this fun, let me know in the comments, yes, you want a fun exercise and you want to actually start paying attention to these things, because it's actually fun when you start paying attention. So leave it in the comments if you want me to give you this fun exercise. I'm going to share with you something that will shift this for you if you don't like feeling triggered by people who have money, or if you don't get triggered by people who have money and you just kind of want to know what the fun exercise is. I'm going to give you something fun to do if you're a people watcher when you go out into the world. All right, Anastasia says yes. Fire emoji. All right, so whenever you're out in the world and you notice somebody that looks like they have money, right? They have nice things. So they are living a lifestyle of somebody who has money. Katrina, give it to me, girl. Acacia, yes. Cynthia, yes. Awesome. Okay, you notice somebody out there in the world. You think they probably have money. Somehow they afforded that car. They have to have had some assets to do that. I just want to invite you to intentionally flip the norm. Intentionally flip the belief that whatever the negative association is that you resonate the most with about people who have money. Whatever one you immediately think of that comes to mind. That's probably the one you've heard the most. Hey, Angela. Glad you're joining. So we're giving a really fun exercise right now. So intentionally flip that belief, whichever one it is, right? And start asking yourself, like, I wonder how they're serving the world. I wonder what they're doing. I wonder what their favorite charity is. I wonder if they are really passionate about animals. Maybe they're really passionate about marine life, saving marine life. Maybe they're really passionate about helping the youth. I wonder what their favorite charity is. How generous they are to everyone. And also, you can take this exercise a little bit deeper if you want to have more fun with it. Actually, take yourself into the emotion of just feeling gratitude that you crossed their path that day, right? Gratitude that you even got to see them, that you were in their presence. Wow, I'm so glad I saw that person with that beautiful car, because they just gave me an amazing gift. And what I mean by that is that they're giving you this amazing gift of possibility. They're helping your brain find evidence that there are people out there who live a life where they can afford nice things and who are successful, and they're an amazing human being. And I bet they love dogs, right? We assume things about how people are all of the time without even questioning it. Why not just, and we don't know if it's true, right? So why not choose a thought that we like to be true and just assume it's true about them? If you're a dog person, assume they love dogs. Assume they love cats if you're a cat person, and they're just an amazing human being that saves animals every day. That's what I like to think. I'm an animal person. Anytime I cross a wealthy person, they're probably donating to animal shelters every day. Because you don't know them, you don't know if it's true, and if it reinforces a positive association in your brain for who you want to become, and if your brain believes that successful people are that person, how much easier will it be for you to go out and be the coach who gets paid and makes a lot of money and does amazing things in the world, right? You have to shift your negative associations around what people are like who have money. And what this exercise will also do is it'll show you that your beliefs about people who are wealthy, that they haven't been verified by you yet, right? We never check them. We just continue to think them. So this is the perfect exercise for checking that belief and verifying whether you know it's true. And if you don't know it's true and you can't know it's true, what do we want to intentionally believe that feels way better? And it reinforces what we want more of in the world. And it'll show you how much you've just taken on to be true from society, from movies, from your family, from your hometown, right? And if you want to take it further down the rabbit hole, you can also find evidence that people who are broke and have no money can do some really bad things and be greedy and be immoral and dishonest. And everything society shows us about rich people can also be true for people who are broke. And so if that's true, stay with me. If it's true that broke people can be all of those things, and that wealthy people can also be the opposite of that, and that they could be either or, then what if money has nothing to do with what kind of person they choose to be? What if money is just a neutral tool that can be used to hurt people or help people? Who here thinks that money is just a neutral tool that we can choose to use however we want? That we can make a lot of money and go out and still be horrible to people in our lives? Or we can make a lot of money and choose to change the world? What if money was neutral and all of the things that have been ingrained in us all of our life, the subliminal messaging from the shows we love so much, and the little passive comments we hear people make in our family, but none of that was true. How many of you believe that? Give me an amen in the comments if you believe that to your core. If that resonates with you, give me an amen in the comments. I want to know that some of you out there agree and that we don't all think money is evil. Money is neutral. It's not good to have a lot of money. It's just extra zeros in your bank account. What you choose to do in your life can create good or bad. Money is just a circumstance in your life. It's a number in your bank account. It's a number on a bill in the mail. It's neither good nor bad, right? The number on the bill isn't good or bad. It's literally a circumstance. The number in your bank account isn't good or bad. It's just a circumstance. Just like your client, if a client wants to lose weight, the number on the scale is neutral. It's a number. If it says 200 pounds, then that's what it is. And anybody can come along and look at it and say, yep, that's what we've got here. Yep, I see it, it's 200. Same thing with money. It's a neutral circumstance. What we choose to believe about it impacts what we go out and do and create in our life, right? Whether you have 100K in the bank or if you have like negative 100 in your bank right now, right? It's neutral. And so all of the exercises we're talking about today are getting you to bring to your awareness your thoughts about money so you can get to that point of, I see how it's neutral, and from that place, I can choose what thoughts I want to have about it, right? So if it's possible that money is neutral, and then it's possible that people who have 100K in the bank aren't bad, or 1 million in the bank, it's also possible they are a good person. And they're an amazing person to become and be in the world. And so once you start to shift your perspective around successful people, you will start to see the haters in a different light. How many of you think about haters and worry about showing up online because of haters? What they're going to think if you're putting yourself out there? What are they going to think if you're charging people right now? You shouldn't be even charging anybody right now. What are they going to think if you're successful, right? When you understand where this is coming from, you can see them in a different light and have compassion for them. There's always going to be haters, right? There's going to be haters on my ads. There's going to be haters who send me hateful emails. There's going to be haters everywhere, right? People who want to put you down, people who want to see you fail. And they probably have the same money beliefs around successful people that they've never questioned. They just don't have any awareness around it. And so from that understanding, we can just choose to have compassion, right? Once you understand where that thought is coming from and that reaction is coming from that belief they have, you can have a more compassionate view. You know what I say? It's okay. It's okay that you feel that way. You can be wrong about me. I don't need you to be right. It's okay. I can still have compassion for you. That's your thoughts and your beliefs. And I understand where it's coming from. Right? So when people see you, that's another fear around becoming successful is, man, people are going to see that I'm becoming successful and I'm showing up in a really big way and it's amazing and things are really taking off. They can either say that, people can say that about you, that's amazing, things are really taking off for her, I'm going to go do that myself. That inspires me to do the thing that I've been wanting to do, but I haven't been pulling the trigger to do. Or they can say, oh yeah, that's so-and-so. She's probably just a scam. She's probably not even helping people. She probably doesn't even want to help people. She's probably not even a nice person because look at her. She wants people to pay her. Right? When we understand where all those toxic beliefs are coming from around successful people, we don't get as triggered by the hate because we have compassion for them. And I will also take this another layer deeper, the people that are close to us. our family, our partners, our friends, even though they love you, they're not going to see what you're doing. They're not going to get it, what you're doing. And the reactions aren't always going to be super supportive, like straight out the gate. They might be the opposite of supportive. And so if you're sharing your success with your family and you're telling them about the successful business you're going to grow, and hey, I just signed a client. She just paid me $2,000. Their reaction might be that of a naysayer. They might put it, okay, that's nice. Oh, good, I'm glad you did that. Okay. They might not get it yet, and that's okay. Be okay with other people not being on board with what you're doing. Be okay with not everybody being able to fulfill that role of supporting you emotionally through the hardest thing you're ever going to do, right? You don't need everyone to like you or support you or understand what you're doing in order for you to be successful. That's their thoughts about successful people, right? We don't police the world's thoughts. We coach ourselves on our thoughts first, and then we go out and help people, right? But their thoughts, even the people that love you, if they don't understand it, their thoughts don't determine your success. Just know that they don't get it right now, but they will. And if they never do, that's okay too. They may never understand what you do. And so what that means is that you can't give them responsibility for giving you approval and supporting you emotionally through, like I said, one of the hardest things you're ever going to do, which is grow a business. So knowing that you can't place that on them if they don't have that level of awareness around success, around being more in the world, showing up bigger. Surround yourself with like-minded people who do support you and who do get it, right? That's why you're here. That's one of the best gifts you can give yourself. So join a mastermind, a program, a group where there are people like you going through the same stuff you're going through right now and supporting you on that journey, because most likely your loved ones, they're not going to understand what you're doing. Even though they love you and they support you and they want everything and more for you in the world, they don't understand. Okay? So you can't make them that person that's responsible for understanding all of that, understanding everything you're going through. They can still love you in their own way, and that's okay. Okay? So you're going to notice as you start breaking down these beliefs about what you've assumed it means to have money and who you'll become if you have a lot of money, right? If you've never made $10,000 in a month before, you've only ever made $5,000 on your best month at your best job, and you make $10,000 coaching, what you're going to realize is that the money is still neutral, and you can be a person who does good with a lot of money, and you can be a person who does bad things when you're broke. And you start to realize how much of an impact, how much more of an impact you actually are able to have when you have more money to utilize, right? You start to notice that you have more choices to do good in the world with more money. And so if money doesn't come from being morally deceitful or bad to others or hurting other people or taking from other people, where does money come from? Who knows where money comes from? If we know it doesn't come from all those negative things that we've been ingrained to assume it comes from, where does money come from? Money comes from value. How many of you have heard this before? Money comes from value. And what does this mean even? And the more that we focus on serving in OCI, the more value we put into our clients in OCI, the more money we make. That's how it works. the more we double down on our client's experience, making that even better, getting them results as fast as possible, the more we make in our company. And so I think so many of you, when you look at successful people and you have those associations of what it takes to get there, those assumptions of what it takes to get to the top, you think that at some point along the way you're going to have to compromise something and do something that doesn't feel good morally in order to make a lot of money. Or here's another layer to it. In order to make a lot of money and get to that level of success, you're going to have to sacrifice your family morals, right? Sacrifice time with your family and be out of the home or be away from them, right? And so how do we address that? When we notice that's another layer of that negative association, how do you address that when it comes up? What do you do when you see that there? You ask yourself, is that true? Are there people out there who value their time with their family? Are there wealthy businessmen who spend so much time with their kids and make it to every little league practice and have family time, right? Are there people out there that have time for their families, always make time for that, and also make a lot of money? Focus on the ones out there doing that who align with your values and ignore the ones out there who don't, right? Because we know the money is neutral. We also know there's going to be people on both sides giving you evidence to feed your brain. What you feed your brain is so important. So money comes from value. And I remember hearing this a long time ago, long time ago, before I ever even became a coach, right? And I used to wonder, okay, if money comes from value, how do I know how to create value? Like, how do I do that? What does that even mean? Sounds simple, but like, do I need to invent something? Do I need to invent another light bulb? What do you mean value in the world? And so in case any of you listening are wondering if you're creating value, how do I do that? If you are a coach and you are solving a major life problem for your clients, you are creating massive value to the world. Money comes from value. If you are solving major life problems, then you need to be charging accordingly to that value. Not to the amount of time it takes to solve the problem, right? Not to how much worth you think you personally have because of the level of experience you have, or because of how professional you look online, because of how many letters you have after your name, because of how many testimonials you have on your page. None of that. If you are solving a major life problem, you need to be charging accordingly. All right? You're not trading time for money. You are in the business of changing lives. All right? So in order to charge accordingly, you have to intentionally let go of any of your thoughts about what it would mean to get paid for charging to work with you and what others are going to think if you're charging that much and what other people are charging, and that you won't be liked and that you won't be loved and you'll lose all your friends. Whatever those beliefs are, this is why this is such an important topic. If you believe you're going to lose something either inside yourself or around you by being successful and being a wealthy person, you're not going to be in a hurry to become a wealthy person. And if you aren't creating wealth, you're probably not creating much value either. You're probably staying small. So I think it's really important to identify this, what thought, right, your drama is around. Charging money, pricing, where that's coming from. Start there. Identify it. And then maybe you'll notice there's another one underneath that. Maybe we've talked about a couple of the beliefs that you have. There might be another one under that. And you can choose to let that go. Once you identify it, you can choose to let it go in an instant. Don't try to get all of your brain drama figured out before you even start. Starting starts with deciding, and then deciding your price, and then deciding the next step after that, and right after that. And with each decision followed by immediate action, you start to create momentum. And this is so, so, so important. I want all of you to hear me. No matter what mentorship program you decide to implement on, this is what I would say is the most critical piece that needs to be there. It needs to be in there. They must be doing this, right? Coaching you on this stuff. Your brain, I guarantee you it's in there. Most of the time it's what's blocking you. And it's not that you just don't have the step-by-step. I guarantee you this is in there on some level, on some layer. If it was just enough to just know what to do, then why do we get stuck? Why do we not move forward? It's because we're in fear. Fear around money, like we talked about today. Fear around success, fear around failure, fear of disappointing others, fear of self-judgment. Or we're self-sabotaging, or we're in hesitation or overwhelm. And if you've ever tried to go for anything big in your life before, you know what I'm talking about. You know what these emotions are that I'm speaking of, and you know how fast these emotions take over and shut you down and sabotage everything. This is so important. So yes, it's important to have the strategy, but it's important to be able to get coached on these things that you don't even consciously know are there, and actually start bringing them to your awareness. That's why I feel so strongly about this piece of coaching. And that's why we incorporate it into OCI. And I remember, like, even in the beginning when I first started coaching coaches, I thought, this is gonna be so easy. I'm just gonna give them the exact system. It's gonna be enough. They're not gonna struggle to take action. They're not gonna doubt themselves. I've got this. I've got this proven process for them. And then I quickly started to realize that if we don't address these things going on in our brains, right? Even coaches need coaches to address what's going on in their brains. And it's the ones that are the most open to receiving that coaching, and then open to really getting coached and have that breakthrough, that get the results the fastest, and they're the example to others of what's possible, which is so amazing. All right. So, my friends, if you want someone to help you break through any of the mind drama, what we've been talking about today, or any other mind drama holding you back in your coaching, and also show you how to get there, right? Giving you, number one, the strategy, obviously, this is how you get there. And then number two, the mental toughness side of it, the emotional side of it that we all have, how to deal with fear and emotion. If you know that you need help with those things, I want to invite you to sign up for a call. Book an appointment to speak with us. You're going to be able to tell us everything that's going on in your business, in your life, and then whatever roadblock you feel is in the way, okay? We can brainstorm on it with you, come up with an empowered plan to deal with it, to no longer let those obstacles get in the way. Even if it's an obstacle you know you have in your own head. So maybe you've been listening to this today and you're thinking, you know, I do have some negative beliefs around money and having money, and I struggle to charge for the value I provide, and I do self-sabotage, and I'm not willing to let that stand in the way anymore. Whatever you're stuck on, whatever that is, come and talk to us. Okay, I promise you, we've seen it before. It's nothing we haven't seen before many, many times, and we can help you through it. So go ahead, book your call with us. You can go to ValerieElher.com/coaching and book your call. Okay, my friends? Or click on the link in the comments. All right, my friends, that is what I have for you today. Let me know if this helped you, if this gave you some ahas around how we as a society think about people who have money. Let me know in the comments who you want to be in our society as someone who has money. What are you committed to contributing to the world? Thank you so much for joining me today. I'll talk to you all next week. Bye-bye.